The film begins by showing the Arousa County region in Maine, where Walt Lawson from the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife plans to go scuba diving in Black Lake. Accompanied by Sheriff Hank Keogh, Walt travels to the dive site using a motorboat. When Walt starts diving, he discovers an animal nest, so he attempts to examine it, until he's startled by something that bites and pulls him quickly. Walt tries to surface and call for help from Hank, who is waiting on the boat. Seeing Walt screaming in pain, Hank prepares with his oar to confront the animal that drags Walt back into the water. Hank grows increasingly alert as Walt surfaces around the boat. Therefore, he tries to help Walt back onto the boat. Unexpectedly, his body appears to have been torn apart as if by a ferocious animal, and Walt ultimately does not survive the next day. Hank meets with the United States Fish and Wildlife Service officer Jack Wells and American Museum of Natural History paleontologist Kelly Scott to investigate the creature that attacked Walt. After examining the bite marks on the body, Kelly finds the creature's teeth and becomes increasingly intrigued by the animal that killed Walt. Therefore, when she hears that Hank and Jack plan to visit Black Lake to inspect the site, Kelly insists on joining them. Hank initially objects to Kelly's presence, feeling that a museum staff member should not be involved in the investigation, but she persists until Hank agrees. Hank then starts planning their visit to Black Lake, and from the information he gathered, there is a married couple living around the lake. Consequently, Hank and the others plan to visit the couple to gather information about the creature in the lake. Using a motorboat, Hank takes Jack and Kelly across the Black Lake and meets an elderly woman named Dolores Bickerman, whose house is right on the edge of the lake. Upon arrival, Dolores greets Hank and the others, inviting them into her home. Dolores begins to recount that she lives alone since her husband passed away 2 years ago. In her explanation, Dolores admits that she was the one who killed her severely ill husband, who had been insisting that she end his life as a result. Dolores decided to strike her husband's head with a frying pan until he died. Hearing her story, Hank and the others do not believe her at all and think Dolores is mentally disturbed due to her husband's death in the past. Soon after, Hank and his group decide to leave as they find no relevant information from Dolores about the creature that might live in the lake and attacked Walt the day before. Not long after, Hank along with Jack and Kelly then crossed the lake again to the research camp near Black Lake. During the journey, the three of them were startled by the discovery of a floating deer head in the middle of the lake, which only deepened their curiosity about the creature that had caused the terror in the lake. Upon arriving at the research camp, they met a wealthy mythology professor and crocodile enthusiast named Hector Sear. In their conversation, Hector speculated that a crocodile was responsible for the attack on Walt and several creatures around the lake. Hector explained that crocodiles often migrate to northern waters at certain times, and since Black Lake is directly connected to the ocean, he suspected that a crocodile had swum into the lake and attacked several people. Despite Hector's analysis, Hank and the others were still skeptical. Hector then invited Hank and his team to investigate the lake directly without wasting time. The four of them used 2 canoes to reach the middle of the lake. During the journey, they noticed strange splashes of water in the middle of the lake until the canoe carrying Kelly and Hank was suddenly hit by something, causing their canoe to overturn. Both of them fell into the lake and struggled to cling to their overturned canoe, unaware that a crocodile was swimming beneath them. Fortunately, the crocodile did not attack. Kelly and Hank were safe and decided to head ashore once around the camp. Kelly tried to report the crocodile attack to the wildlife sanctuary. Unfortunately, the sanctuary staff did not believe her account, considering it too far-fetched, as there had been no previous cases of crocodile attacks in the lake. A short time later, Deputy Sharing, who was a subordinate of Hank, informed them that she had just discovered a human that was beginning to rot around the lake. They quickly examined the discovery, which was infested with maggots. They suspected that the crocodile living in Black Lake had claimed many victims that night. Hector paid some of Hank's men to help him dig a large hole that he planned to use to trap the crocodile in the lake. When Hank found out, he was unhappy with his actions and immediately went to Hector and his dental wart mythology professor not to do anything without the sheriff's permission. Hector reluctantly agreed to Hank's request. As night fell, and everyone had settled and Hank went out to relieve himself, walking away from the camp toward the large trees surrounding the area. At that moment, Hank was startled by a sound coming from the bushes nearby. Curious, he cautiously approached to investigate, and was shocked to see Hector secretly setting a trap for the crocodile. The next day, Hank, Hector, and the others returned to the lake where Walt had been attacked previously. To capture the crocodile in the lake, Jack and Hector decide to dive while Hank and the others would lure the crocodile using a recording of a baby crocodile's call as Jack and Hector dove to locate the crocodile. Kelly, Hank, and Deputy Burke waited on the motorboat. They discussed how calm the lake appeared, leading them to believe that the crocodile might not be in that area. Soon after, something tugged at the boat's anchor, causing Kelly to fall into the water. Hank, still on the boat, instructed Burke to release the anchor so that the boat wouldn't be dragged further by the creature. They then started the boat engine and rushed to help Kelly. Just as Kelly climbed back onto the boat, Jack surfaced, surprising Hank as she mistook him for the crocodile not far from the boat. Hector also surfaced, and they hurried to help the professor back on board, as they considered their search for the day to be over. Arca turned on a speaker, playing the baby crocodile sound underwater, leading a large crocodile to leap out and bite off his head. Everyone was shocked by the event, and Hank tried to keep Burke's remains from falling into the water following the horrifying incident. Kelly, who was back at the camp, remained silent, causing Jack to worry about her. At the same time, Hank and Hector began arguing again, until Hank, frustrated, walked away without realizing he had stepped on the crocodile trap. As a result, Hank ended up hanging upside down from a tree, and Hector asked him and ought to be angry with him. Once he was lowered, Hank agreed and Hector released him. However, Hank had lied as she immediately chased Hector for continuing to set traps despite his earlier prohibition. In the midst of Hank and Hector's argument, a bear suddenly emerged from the forest and was about to attack them, but an extraordinarily large crocodile appeared and dragged the bear into the water. Everyone was shocked by the size of the crocodile living in Blake Lake. Hank then asked Kelly and the others to identify the type of crocodile they had seen. By nightfall, they were still trying to determine the crocodile species until Kelly discovered that it was an Asian Pacific crocodile. Because of this, Hank wondered how the crocodile could have reached Blake Lake, which was not its natural habitat. The next morning, Kelly, assisted by the sheriff's team, was making footprints of the crocodile from the previous day. Just as Kelly finished, she accidentally stepped on a branch, causing Burke's head to be thrown towards her. In the midst of the panic, Jack saw Dolores dragging a cow with its eyes covered to the edge of the lake through binoculars. Jack and Kelly observed Dolores deliberately feeding the crocodile without hesitation. Kelly and the team rushed to confront her to ask how long she had been feeding the crocodile in Black Lake. Dolores revealed that she had been feeding the crocodile for 6 years, since the crocodile followed her husband to the lake. Additionally, Dolores stated that her husband did not die because she killed him, but rather he was killed by the crocodile. At that time, Dolores's husband was trying to save his horse from being eaten by the crocodile, but unfortunately he became the victim. Dolores did not report the attack because she claimed to care for the crocodile as if it were one of her pets. On the other hand, Hector and Sharon took an amphibious helicopter to the area of the lake suspected to be the crocodile's lair, as she planned to dive alone to find crocodile. Learning this, Sharon immediately reported to Hank about Hector's dangerous plan. After swimming a considerable distance from where the helicopter landed, Hector surfaced and suddenly saw the crocodile approaching him slowly. Hector swam back toward the helicopter while asking Sharon to start the helicopter's engine. When Hector reached the helicopter's float, he deliberately threw a rubber boat to divert the crocodiles so he could board the helicopter. In short, Sharon began lifting the amphibious helicopter, but the crocodile attempted to attack them, biting one of the helicopter's floats, causing the helicopter to tilt. Sharon shot at the crocodile until they were able to escape from the water. Upon Hector's return to camp, Kelly immediately approached him to question the professor's reckless AC. During their conversation, Hector requested that they not kill the crocodile. Soon after, they contacted the Wildlife Department and the Department of Fish and Wildlife from Florida to come to Black Lake to handle the crocodile. Hector planned for Hank and the others to lure the crocodile out and sedate E'd rather than killing it all. Team members agreed with Hector's suggestions. The next day they used Dolores' bet cow to lure the crocodile out. Although Dolores disagreed with the idea of capturing the crocodile, Hank and the others insisted on proceeding. Given the crocodile had killed many people, using an amphibious helicopter, Dolores' cow was lifted and flown over the lake. Tow tracked the hungry crocodile. Hank and the others were stationed at the lake's edge with their tranquilizer guns. As night fell, there was still no sign of the crocodile, leading everyone to begin giving up. Shortly after, Hector, who was flying the helicopter, finally spotted the crocodile and immediately informed his team. Everyone quickly prepared, including Hector, who was about to lift the cow. But the strap holding the cow suddenly came loose, causing the cow to fall into the water. The helicopter also tilted and crashed into the lake. After confirming the crocodile had left, Hector intended to swim to the lake's edge until the crocodile reappeared, prompting Hank to enter the water to target the crocodile. Sensing it was being hunted, the crocodile submerged and then resurfaced in front of Hank. Seeing this, Hank quickly climbed into a pickup truck prepared by his team to escape the crocodile. Unfortunately, the truck ran over a piece of woods and Kelly to fall and land on the ground. Seeing her in danger, Jack shot at the crocodile to divert its attention, but Kelly was eventually thrown into the lake after being struck by the crocodile. The crocodile swiftly returned to the water to pursue Kelly, who was swimming toward the helicopter, where Hector was to evade the crocodile. Kelly hid behind a lodge in the lake, which the crocodile bitten. Kelly then took this opportunity to climb to the damaged helicopter. The giant crocodile then disappeared but reemerged from behind the helicopter and attempted to attack Kelly and Hector. They hurriedly swam to the shore while the crocodile got stuck in the helicopter's door, allowing Jack to fire his tranquilizer gun as the crocodile was pulled to the shore. Another crocodile suddenly grabbed Hector's leg, prompting Hank to shoot a grenade launcher into the crocodile's mouth, causing it to explode. Shortly afterward, officials from Florida arrived to transport one of the living crocodiles to Portland, where the crocodile sanctuary is located. At the end of the film, after that night, Dolores is seen walking to the edge of the lake to feed some baby crocodiles, indicating that the giant crocodile that lived in Black Lake was a mating pair. In the post-credits scene, the captured crocodile is shown bounding a trailer truck and being transported to the sanctuary. Moral lesson from the story: never scuba dive in a lake. If you can't swim away from a crocodile, always check if your boat has an emergency exit before a surprise croc party. Remember, it's better to lose your oar than your head.